How's your wound?
Yeah, crossing up, bleeding nicely and...
Club hammer, yeah?
Yeah. Well, no, bigger than that. A big blacksmith's hammer.
Do any damage to the hammer? Or was it?
Nah, it was alright, the hammer. I've had it for years. Basically, that should all be flat metal. It's all just been... So they jacked it out with the hydraulics back in the day, or mechanical rams, and heated it all up with oxyacetylene torches, and that would have let them pull it all out as such. None of it's straight, so I've just done what I can just to get it.
So this is the front wing of the Cadillac?
Yes, what we would call driver's side front wing, yeah. These are the big air rams that go into the heater system.
Okay.
It's a normal car, you just have your inner wheel arch, you don't have any of this on it. See how under stress it is where it's bent. It's only a skinny bit of metal, that should just bang out. It's about as good as it's going to go really by the feel of it, so...
So which piece are you replacing then?
Well, I've done all the inner, that's that, because none of that was there, that's all down there. That basically is that bit. So, it was, that's all the underseal that was in it.
Blimey.
So that bit was that bit there, look. That I've replaced in there, because you've got to do the inside before you can do the outside.
Yeah.
So that's that. I won't fully weld it because it'll just warp. You can see the damage there more, look, see? Where it's been crashed.
Yeah.
So that, you just do what they call stitch welding and then brush on seam seal all the way around next. It's just an air dam, it's not anything functional, you know, it's not structural at all. You'll waste all your time welding it and it'll only warp anyway, so there's no point. So the next bit to make, I'll put that bit on the outside, just to get the major bit into it. That needs grinding up, so we'll endeavour to make this piece here. Put that in, and then I'll put that in last, that bit. Because it's so bent, there's no point in trying to do it on the folder. That's why I've had to do it in sections, like weld that to that, because that wasn't rusty. That keeps most of that in line where it should be.
Yeah.
If you try to cut a whole lot out and make it, you'd never ever get it to fit again. So we've got to remake this piece here, and that has a flange that comes in that way. Now I've done that in a straight line. See, that was what was left of that. Had a bit of ginger illness.
Just a bit.
So all it was that was stepped up very slightly, but I can manage to do that. So it is a straight line. So we'll cut a piece of metal to go in there. Might have to grind this off a little bit. Set it at the angle, put our flange on it, and get that welded in. That will hold that, and then we can set this piece because that has another flange going that way.
So what's your approach when you go to do this? How are you approaching it?
Like that, as a reference point. So that's staying in there, and then I cut out all the metal that's rusty. And then you know you've got to do the inside first, so I made all the inside first, and you just cut it to a rough size, mark it up and trim it in. That's the easiest way to do it. Like I say, if it was straight, you could take it all off, undo all the spot welds, measure it all up, put it on the folder and fold it all up, but it's bent, so there's no point, you won't ever get it straight. So 240 we'll go. So we've got 57 there. That's slightly over, so we'll have to bring that up, that's okay. Plasma cutter, great tool. We want to put that in there. So we'll have to trim that back a little bit.
So why don't you do one larger piece going down as well?
Because where I've cut this, it's none of it's square, you just cut it out by hand.
Okay.
So you'll never, you can do it, but it's easier just to run a weld along there. Anything with a point on like that, where this was all buckled back here, I've had to do it like that anyway. In some ways it's just easier just to run a weld along there and it's done then. Just going to make that cut longer, but it doesn't matter, we can just trim that back. It's all, you've got to get a sort of happy medium between it all because it's all so pissed.
How's your wound?
Yeah, crossing up, bleeding nicely and...
Club hammer, yeah?
Yeah. Well, no, bigger than that. A big blacksmith's hammer.
Do any damage to the hammer? Or was it?
Nah, it was alright, the hammer. I've had it for years. See, this, I don't know whether that's in the right place, the right shape, anything. That's all been hammered out, so you just got to make it fit. You never get your corners to sit right, so it's always easier just to chop them out of the way. We can afford to come a little bit more off of that actually. Plug the grinder in, always handy. Straighten that back out in a minute. If you want to try and straighten a bend back out, see it's done that, so if you try and do it on the whole length of it,
yeah,
that's obviously stronger as a little piece than that whole bit that's going to bend. So do it with a screwdriver underneath and you can just bash that back again. Okay. Get that welded in, I think. Right, let's weld that up then all the way, then we can grind that bit up. Don't know why I blow on a weld. It's got completely no difference whatsoever. Oh, it's got it all. That isn't actually straight, that, so that probably, oh, due to there it might have been. No, it had a curve on that. It's going to be straight now though. So we want to put an angle on that then. It's 155 that is. sticky on that. So, got a nice angle. Right, that's better there. Okay. That's better. It's not bad, is it? Take a little bit off of that, I'll let that go in a little bit more. That'll be alright, won't it?
It's looks pretty good.
Okay.
On fire on the inside.
Yeah, I know. Just have a little bit of filler in it, smooth that out. That's good enough compared to what it was like.
Oh yeah.
It was fooked.
You pleased with that?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, like I say, to do it properly, you should get all these fold lines perfect and everything, but it's so bent, you're just not going to do it. So if I tell you now, the minute you cut that out, that front wing will just warp and go all over the place. So you got to make do with what you got.
Yeah.
Next week on The Workshop.